1, 2, 3, go. Hello, world.
Hello, world. I am Sophia.
I am from Oklahoma.
Hello world, I'm Dan and I'm from Vietnam.
Hello world. My name is Daniel Gutierrez. I'm from California. And I'm so excited to be doing this.
What if you woke up in a far part of the galaxy as a robot?
What if actual bears had tea parties like teddy bears?
What if a space-traveling knight fell in love with an alien?
This is Pixie. On the outside, she's outgoing and bubbly. On the inside, she's anxious and scared.
What I want most is to win the coveted annual sloth swim-off. It's a little-known fact that we sloths are way faster in the water than on the ground.
What stops me from getting what I want is my family leaving the place we know and love.
What I need to learn is to be vulnerable and be honest with the people I love.
Once upon a time, there was a small sprite named Rin who lived in a magical forest with other fantastical creatures and people.
Every single day, Brian trained as hard as he could to become a master chef in the kitchen.
Until one day, she became curious of the surface of the ocean she had always heard rumors of.
Because of this, Bob gets kicked out of his castle and has to journey on his own to find a lost relic in order to save his castle.
Because of that, they ended up at the airport, where the kitten got lost.
Because of that, Yo-Yo is so frustrated with his failed attempts that he packs everything and moves away. He will find a place where he can actually have peace, where no one will break his tulips and ruin his salad.
Until finally, Celine is forced to confront her fears and come to terms with the realization that she cannot keep pushing people away.
Ever since then, Boho has been the happiest ocean bear ever.
The moral of the story is, having someone by your side is important, but the only person you need to please is yourself.
Hello, and welcome to the Story Xperiential May exhibition. My name is Dennis Henderson from the Xperiential team, and I am honored to be your host. I love this time of the year because it's when we at Xperiential take a moment to celebrate you and your work. These awards were determined by your votes, so thank you to all of you who voted. But no matter where you are currently in the program, from what if to outline to finished story reel, be proud of what you have accomplished. Telling an original story takes an incredible amount of effort, so give yourselves a round of applause, and thank you for joining me to celebrate all of your wonderful stories. Before we get to the first awards, I want to take a moment to express our appreciation to all the teachers and administrators out there. The time of instruction and support you've lent to your students have been amazing. And as an educator myself, I want to thank you personally because I know the commitment and dedication it takes to do a project such as this. And being as Teachers Appreciation Week, sometimes we just got to celebrate one another. I also want to give a big special shout out to Christian Roman. Christian has been extremely generous with his time for the past few months. Not only has he been our guest for the last 2 live streams, sharing his insights, his wisdom, and experience on storytelling, but also the winner of the grand prize for Best Overall Story Reel will receive a one-on-one video session with Christian. What a prize. For those of you like me who can't get enough of Christian Roman, stay tuned. We have a special surprise for you later in the show. Okay, let's get on to the awards. Our first peer recognition award is for excellence in feedback. The Excellence in Feedback Award is a very special award for the Xperiential team because feedback is a critical part of storytelling. Anyone can tell a great story, but it takes a really, really, really great supportive team that gives feedback and input, the essentials that's required to make an amazing story. And the support from your peers that have shared this with us, thank you so much. This award is granted to 2 Story Xperiential participants, one from the youth and one from the adult cohorts, who provided exemplary feedback. Drum roll, please. The award for excellence in feedback in the youth cohort goes to Felix. The award for excellence in feedback in the adult cohort goes to Stephen Gerards. Congratulations, Felix and Stephen, and thank you to everyone in the program for providing outstanding feedback and helping to foster a supportive environment. Now, on to the Best Story Reel Awards. As a reminder, these awards were determined by your votes. You scored your peer submissions on how compelling their story is and their use of visual storytelling, as well as character development and story structure. Your votes were then tallied to determine the 2 top winners in both our youth and adult cohorts. Each of the awardees will receive a reaction to their story reels from 2 special guests, my experiential colleague, Elise Kleidman, and I'm very happy to welcome back, once again, the one and only Christian Roman. Hello, Elise and Christian. Thank you for joining me.
Hi, everyone. We are so excited to be here. This is truly one of the most fun things that I get to do every year.
Hi, everybody. I'm really excited to be here and to see these films and so excited to give you feedback and react to them.
Here to announce the Best Story Reel awardees in both the youth and adult cohorts is one of my experiential colleagues and Story Experiential alum, Sky Sonomura.
When I went through the Story Experiential program, I wasn't alone. I entered with my whole family, and one member of my family had paved the way by participating in the first Story Experiential program and shortly thereafter joining the Xperiential team. Dear audience, please join me in welcoming fellow Story Experiential alumni and my older brother...
Elder.
What?
Elder. I'm an elder right now.
Huh?
No, I've been serving the people in Japan for the last 2 years, and... いや、だからちょうどだって。
Oh yeah! Please join me in welcoming my younger brother who is an elder, Nova.
Story Experiential 一番
We know from our experiential experience how much goes into telling your own story, so congratulations.
おめでとうございます
Together, we have the true honor of announcing the Story Experiential Best Story Reel in the youth and adult categories as determined by your votes. Wow, 2 years in Japan giving love and service to everybody you meet? Oh, you must have learned so much.
はい、そうなんですよ。まあでも、どこに行ってもまだ学んだり成長したりできますね。本当の成長は、ハワイで育って学ぶことと、日本で奉仕して学ぶことを全て合わせて活かすときにきますね。
Now, learning from your past and your present to create a beautiful, better future? That sounds super!
Super!
Just like the titular character of our first awarded submission for Best Story Reel in the youth cohort, Indigo! By Lucas.
Once upon a time, far from now, at the edge of the stars, there is a government lab. Here, they manufacture synthetics, beings made to keep order. The newest, the youngest, is Indigo. Hiding from his government creators, Indigo finds the leader of a local criminal group. Without too much trouble, she accepts him. Soon, Indigo is practicing his tactics. He leads unsuccessful crimes, but he's learning what works and what doesn't. He's ready. He's got the power. He's got the right. Indigo reaches the lab where he is confronted by the other synthetics. They try to fight him. It's easy. It's easy. They don't have a chance. Soon only Dr. Pierce is left. Indigo, don't hurt me.
Lucas, this was beautiful. Like, your drawing skill for Indigo is top notch. Like, really nice, like, drawings and shadings. Very evokes a comic book kind of feel. You really show that you understand how to draw like humans and spaceships and things, and it really supports the story that you're trying to tell here. Really, really nice work. I think that you also have a great grasp of color. And it seems like you have this epic story in your head that you really want to tell. And so I can feel the world that you've built, that you've got this whole kind of sci-fi, expansive planets and people and characters all ready to go for the story that you really want to tell. So great job with that. Elise, you want to say anything?
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100% about the artwork. Super dynamic style, right? Which really echoes the mood and the genre that you're evoking. I love the use of high contrast and really strong colors, and then alternated with occasionally the monochromatic scenes, which made the high contrast, really colorful ones pop and be even more dramatic. Great use of this kind of superhero genre to tell a story that really resonates today, and not only today, throughout history, right? Human beings seem to repeat this behavior over and over again. I also really like the music. I know you've gotten this feedback before. There's some places where it's a little loud, and so it covered up some crucial moments. So, pay attention to that. I have a couple of questions because I have this feeling that you're going to keep working on this. And so one question I have for you is, what makes Indigo different from the other trained beings? Like, how and why does Indigo think differently? And then later in the story, when Indigo comes back and gets the synthetics to go with him, why do they have a change of heart? So it's kind of like I want to know what the motivation is. I love kind of the plot points, and I'd love to see, where this goes.
Yeah, I have the exact same thoughts. I want to know more about what is making Indigo make these choices. Like there's a part in the beginning where he's looking out the window and the stars, and I think he wants freedom, but it's not really clear why he decides in that moment to go against the doctor and escape. And then later when he's on that planet with the leader of the kind of the rebellious group, I guess, then he leaves them, and I'm not sure why he leaves them. He just kind of does. I have a feeling that you know why, but when you're telling a story, it's very easy to forget that the audience doesn't know everything you know. So you've got to really be aware of letting the audience know what's going on in the character's head in a way that isn't too. You don't want to hit everybody over the head, but you want to give them just enough information so I can go, oh, I understand why that character is doing that.
Yeah, it's such a delicate balance, the not like telling too much, but we want to know enough to feel why, right? And so that we're kind of going along for the journey almost within the main character or the character's emotions. Anyway, you clearly have hooked us because we want to see what's going to happen. So congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. Great job.
Was it hard being so far away from home?
まあもちろん寂しかったんですが、まあでもまだビデオ通話とかで家族と喋れますし、あとはまあ日本でたくさんの人と会って、もう家族みたいなもんなんで、まあそこまで本籍じゃなかったんですかね。
Maybe home isn't just a place then. Maybe it's our next award for best story reel in the youth cohort. We're talking about Home, an Anglo-Zanzibar war story by Claire.
Hadia, we must not stay for longer. I think there will soon be a war. Rashid, it's not worth worrying if you don't know for sure war is the solution. Yes, I know, but I'm concerned of our safety. Oh, it's you and your imagination again. Good night. Come on, Amina and Ali, we have to go! Look, our apartment is gone!
Where this is a beautiful, emotional story, and what's most extraordinary to me is how you got this across in such a short amount of time. It's clear, it has a strong style that really fits the story, which sadly resonates for so many people all over the world. You've designed really appealing characters that are very relatable. So almost initially, from seeing the character, the main character, the characters, I'm in it because they feel I feel empathy for them. I think you used sound really nicely. In particular, I noticed it when the war was happening. Your visuals evoked chaos, but so did the sound. And I really thought I loved the graphic style with the strong outlines. It gave it power, but it also kind of had a comic book feel to it. So while it was both really strong, it also felt again that kind of relatable. So yeah, I really enjoyed what you created.
Yeah, I agree. I found your drawings very charming, and it felt like it evoked the place that you were trying to evoke without it being too literal. It was just enough to feel comfortable and yet still feel dramatic. And I really liked the way you were telling the story and your own your words. It feels like it was a personal story. It feels like maybe this is actually something that you happened to you or something that happened to someone you know, maybe, but it did feel real, which was really great. I did want to. I had a couple questions though. I felt, I mean, it was short. I felt like it was could have gone on a little bit longer because I wanted to know. It wasn't really clear what happened once they got to the mountains. They said, I love the message that your home isn't a physical place, but I never really got a sense of how they felt about their apartment being destroyed. You never see them reacting to it being destroyed, or are they happy? Are they sad? Are they angry? So I want to know. It's really important to let the audience know how the characters feel about things that are happening within the story. Um, Also, I wasn't sure what the relationship of the two characters were. Were they brother and sister, or mother and son, or what? There wasn't really spelled out. So I'm kind of curious because I think that relates to how the story is and how the characters are talking to one another. If the mom is saying things to reassure the son, or the son is saying things to reassure the mom, I think that would be an important aspect to accentuate in the story to help people understand how the characters relate to one another.
Yeah, I agree with both of those. And I think what it shows is that we're really interested, we're invested in this character and this story, and we want to know more. And I just want to go back and reiterate one thing that Christian, I think, was saying in terms of how your visual style also evoked a specific place and maybe culture.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like we really feel transported to somewhere different. And I'd love to see and learn more about where that place is.
Right. Yeah. And don't be afraid to be specific. I mean, if you want, like the drawing of the apartment, I think you can even go a little bit more detailed than that and be more specific in that, because that really helps transport us as the audience to another place and really feel the authenticity of it.
Congratulations, Lucas and Claire!
Lucas, Claire, おめでとうございます.
Yeah, now how's about that for your first dual language story experiential? Now, time for our winners in the adult category.
Mm, 逆にどう？私いなくて寂しかった？
Yeah, I missed you a lot, but this was an awesome thing you've been doing, and I knew we'd see each other again after we'd both grown a bit, and until then, we were like always going to be connected.
波のよう寄せては返す帰り道。
Oh, why does everything in Japanese always have to sound so deep? Corresponding with that haiku, the first Best Story Reel award in the adult cohort goes to Ebb and Flow by Stefan Shiraz.
Wow. Wow. Huh?
Stefan, Ebb and Flow was just magical. It was really heartfelt and warm, and the story itself is very simple and yet very relatable, and just a nice story. Really well done, simple and but effective. The turtle designs are really done to the point where, like, when you're doing a movie about or a story about turtles, turtles tend to look the same. So the fact that you made one green and one pink was brilliant. Just a great way to differentiate them, but that they're both turtle. And I didn't question that there's a pink turtle. It was fine. I totally bought into the story. Um, I love. I kind of back and forth about the vocalizations. They're charming, but I wish there were more. It seemed, but at the same time, that's kind of funny that you only had like 3 vocalizations that you used for it. Part of me felt like if you could do some more, but other times I was like, oh, there's that sound again. Um, but yeah, just great job with the clear storytelling, showing what the challenge, what they wanted, what the challenges were, how they overcame those challenges, and ultimately succeeded at the end. It was great.
Yeah, I completely agree. I loved that there was no dialogue, that you got your story across completely without dialogue. And I loved the wow vocalizations. I agree with Christian. I think it's possible there might be a couple more places for it. I love that it was a story about kindness and recognizing that one's own strengths or characteristics can really be helpful to someone else. They each had a different strength. One was on the land and one was in the water, and they ended up supporting each other with those different strengths that they had. I also like the little nod to the environment. You have on the one hand this really beautiful natural setting, and then garbage, right?
Yeah.
Garbage on the beach, which is a danger to living things. So you did that really, really nicely. Super appealing characters, just like Christian said. Nice use of sound effects. There was one particular moment where the green turtle, I forget, I don't remember which one's ebb and which one's flow, but the green turtle is wiggling and wiggling their shell to get the other turtle to come and jump on their back. And it's so charming, just the like look behind and the little wiggle. So that was a moment that really, really stuck with me.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did a great job of using very limited animation, but still moved enough to feel like they were alive. It didn't feel like you were just doing still drawings and moving things around. You had things move. It was really nice that the roughness of the drawings was perfectly fine. I I will. The two. I guess the two comments that I have. Um, one thing I felt like is the story could have been a little faster. I felt like there were some moments where you lingered a little long on things, and I wondered if you could speed it up, just to because we get the the message, and sometimes you lingered maybe a little too long. Like I understand you can move on to the next thing, and that's a taste thing, I guess. Oh, and I remember the other thing I wanted to say. It's not necessarily a note or criticism. It's actually commenting about what Elise was saying with the trash. I actually really like that because at first, everything that I've learned from like nature shows is when those baby turtles uh, open up, they're in danger of being eaten by animals, and so that's the immediate thing that I worried about. And I was like, how is this other turtle going to save the turtle from being eaten by something? Maybe they're both going to get eaten, but by making it trash, it changed it in a way that was still believable, which is great. Like taking something that we all know and having a kind of a message in there too about like the destruction of the world through like garbage and excessive trash everywhere is really really well done.
Yeah, I agree. And that note that you had was the only note that I would have also. There were like 2 or 3 places where I was like, what, why am I still waiting? But it was just a tiny, tiny bit. Other than that, it felt really complete and like, this is done. This is beautiful. So congrats.
次はどうなるかな?
Gee, I don't know. I never could have predicted where we are right now, so just about anything could happen, don't you think?
まあどうなっても大事なのがみんながハーモニーに生きることです。
The next award for best story reel in the adult cohort goes to Wacky Thing Called Life by Solomon Slow. Solomon Slow.
Howdy, the name's Jumpity. Jumpity Jips.
I'm Trinity. Trinity the cat. So you're the manager of this portable yet turbulent inn.
Are you a cop?
No.
Then yes, I am the manager. What can I do for you, doll?
Well, I was wondering if I can get a room to stay the night, for I'm leaving town tomorrow to simply get away from the humdrum of everyday society.
So you're one of those people then?
What do you mean, one of those people?
I mean, you're so tired of the constant hubbub that comes with a person bringing any bad news. Annoyed at why some people can fall for the same schlock and feel so darn ashamed at the messes that humanity has made that it can bring your spirit down any time or day. Does this not describe you?
I mean, kind of. Not really. Yes.
Solomon, A Wacky Thing Called Life was so much fun and so relatable. And Solomon, we've gotten to see your work evolve and grow in Story Xperiential. I love where you started, and you have become more and more sophisticated in everything that you do. You've had a clear and distinct style, consistent from the beginning. And it's both a style that like really resonates kind of with the history of animation, but it's also very uniquely your style. And I love that you can use so much dynamic and saturated color, and yet you still manage to direct our eye. Like for me, that much saturated color can sometimes be overwhelming, and yet it works. You have a way of just making it work. And you shared a message that I think a lot of people these days are, we struggle with the complexity of the world, and how do we find our rhythm and our joy and our happiness. And you created this joyful musical, which was so unexpected and so delightful. And I think that the fact that it was a musical and it has all this bright color, even though the messages or the story is it's full of some hard things, it really pulled us forward in so many really fun ways.
Yeah, I mean, just really impressive work. Just it seems like a lot of work to be able to do the animation and the lip assignment for the actual characters, like moving their mouths, and a song, like writing a song and having someone sing it, and just having all that. And it was not just a short. This was for a short 6 minutes. I mean, really, is really long. So that's a lot of work. And it's really, well done work too. Just really seeing characters moving, and never felt like you were cutting many corners at all. It just felt like you really dug in to tell this story. But at the same time, I will say, I mean, it's a interesting message, and you had a message, but I felt like maybe the message was overpowering your story to a certain degree. Just that I felt I didn't empathize or identify with any of the characters. I don't know what Trinity really wanted, the cat. I mean, it felt like Trinity was just coming into this inn and saying, "Hey, I'm here to stay the night because I'm leaving tomorrow," which at the first I wasn't sure what that had to do with anything. And then the other characters saying, "Oh, you're letting the weight of the world get you down. but I never saw anything like happen to Trinity to make me believe that Trinity wasn't happy with the way the world, like a lot of telling and not showing. Now to say at the end with the song, you were definitely like having images show that went along with the song, but they weren't personal to the characters. They were more about the world. So it didn't feel like a story as much as a lecture in a way. Like I'm just telling you, this is the world is bad, and don't let it get you down, and maybe we can all work together. And there were moments where you could have used that, like they're fighting in the beginning, like maybe you could show how like those characters are fighting because of something bad and how they like overcome their differences or overcome those obstacles instead of just kind of like singing us a song about it. But I think for me, when you're telling a story and you have a message, I think it's sometimes more powerful to see the characters going through something, reacting to it, and showing us how they overcome those things.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying in terms of the like emotion. We didn't feel Trinity's emotion. We heard about it. And really good point you're making about like the other characters who are kind of not so nice when Trinity first comes in, when she first comes in, it's like that's kind of almost symbolic of what might be going on inside Trinity, but Trinity doesn't really react or let us in. And so I don't think it would take very much. I think it would take just a little bit of emotion coming from Trinity that would like help us really get it. And it's interesting that you said it felt a little bit like, a lecture, because on the positive side of that, I was thinking it could be really interesting to have that set of characters do a whole series where they're kind of like helping like little helps and hints for life. Like how to get through the hard times.
Yeah.
They felt like an ensemble, and like you could
totally.
learn about the different characters and what they bring to the world.
Yeah, that would be really cool, and we'd really like to see the characters like developed more so they really stand out from one another, and they're not just like one note characters. You could see like have little things where you show them and how they react to the world, and each one reacts differently and has a different reaction. So, and that gives us a lesson on like how different people deal with the world.
Yeah, absolutely. This is once again it's such an honor, and it so fills me with joy to see the work of this community of story experiential storytellers. I'm so thankful for the community. I'm so thankful to see this creativity and to be a part of it. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, me too. I'm so excited to be a part of it. I'm always excited when people are telling stories. I feel like it's the thing that gets me out of bed every day, is the idea that we all have stories to tell, and the idea that people are exercising that part of their freedom, I guess, or it's the thing that we can all do, and we should all be doing it as much as we can, because we all have stories to tell, and every story is important.
We have one final award, the grand prize for best overall story reel. The winner will receive a one-on-one virtual visit from Christian Roman. And here to announce the winner is another one of my experiential colleagues, Lauren Britz.
Thanks, Dennis, and hi, everybody. I am thrilled to reveal the winner of the grand prize for Best Overall Story Reel. This award is being granted to the story reel that received the highest score across both the adult and youth cohorts. The winner of the grand prize will receive a featured article on the Xperiential news page and social media posts about their creative journey. And as Dennis said, the grand prize winner for Best Overall Story Reel will also receive a one-on-one session with our featured guest speaker, Christian Roman. And the grand prize goes to Ebb and Flow by Stefan Gerards in the adult cohort. Congratulations, Stefan.
Amazing. Congratulations, Stefan, and congratulations to everyone who participated in May exhibition. Thank you, Elise, Christian, Sky, and Lauren for joining me for these peer recognition awards, and for all of you that submitted to the exhibition. You will receive a Story Experiential Certificate of Completion, which you can access, download directly from your dashboard. You will also receive your own dedicated exhibition page with a unique link. With that said, share your work. Be sure to show off. Share with family, share with friends, add it to your portfolio, include it in your applications for universities, internships, or even job opportunities. You can even submit it to film festivals. The exhibition pages are open to the public, so share your work. And when you do, give Story Experiential a shout out so we can celebrate with you. Finally, when you have time on your hands, you do have access to this platform for an entire year from the date you registered. So continue to develop, create, and demonstrate what you can do. Thanks for a wonderful celebration, and we ask you all please join us again to create more memorable stories. That's a wrap.